Hello and welcome back to Junction. It's been a busy week and I've got quite a lot to get through. One of the things will be a general update on the layout and various things I've been working on just to improve the running, and I'm also in the process of finishing off the end of the branch line, so I'll show you some of that. So in the last video I got quite a few comments from people asking where the branch line actually went once it disappears underneath the main lines. You can see also I've got a point in over there, thinking about doing something over here, haven't finalised the ideas yet. Possibly a small depot, possibly something disused or something in between, so I'll have a think about that. But anyway, onto the branch line. The reason why you haven't seen the branch line beyond this point is because it's not finished, and at the moment I'm still working on it, but I've done a few more bits and pieces. So the branch comes underneath the main lines, and it comes into this very small sort of fiddle yard, if you like. It's basically going to be 4 sidings. They don't go anywhere, they're dead ends, and the idea is this is where all the DMUs and multiple units will be stored. So up until now I've only really had a short dead end siding just to temporarily work the branch line. I'm now in the process of laying the proper sidings for it. So there's 4 sidings in total, and they're all quite long. You'll get about a 6-coach train in the longest one, so I should be able to store a couple of 2-car DMUs in each one quite easily, and there should be enough room to store the APT as well. So I've laid the cork and I'm just laying some of the track now, so I'm going to crack on and get that finished, and in the meantime you can watch what I've been up to this week. It's been quite a busy week and quite a lot's been going on. I was pleasantly surprised a few weeks ago to receive an email from Hattons asking if I wanted to come up and take a look around their site. So I thought, well, how often do you get the chance to do that? Most of the stock on the layout that I've bought over the last 10 or so years has come from Hattons. Bit of a drive, I had to get up a bit early, but no matter. So I went up to their little model shop, and when I arrived it became apparent that this is no longer a little model shop. Couldn't believe the size of it. I used to work for an IT support company and their entire office was smaller than this place, and this is supposed to be a model shop. I joined fellow YouTubers SDJR7F88 and Sam's Trains, and together we were given a full tour of the place by Jack and Dave of Hattons. The warehouse and picking setup was very impressive. Thousands of stuff in stock. It felt like it went on for miles. One particular highlight for me was seeing an entire pallet on the floor under some racking that was just filled with boxes of Pico FlexiTrack. All I can say is thank goodness I restrict myself to modelling a specific era, because the amount of temptation that was on display in this warehouse was overwhelming. How the staff get through the day without emptying their wallet, I do not know. After the tour of the warehouse and office facilities, we went back up to the room where the layout is kept, and basically spent the rest of the day playing trains. I was particularly impressed with the new Hattons 66.
Ooh!
While the current Bachmann offering is good, it's now over 10 years old and the detail in certain areas leaves something to be desired. This model presents a much needed upgrade for the modern image modeler, and it features items such as rotating axle boxes, full prototypical lighting control, and different body shells to cater for the specific detail differences between the various batches of Class 66. The 2 models you can see now have both been hand painted, and unfortunately the Freightliner example did suffer a bit of a fall, which I believe involved a flight of stairs, so there is some damage on one end of it.
So I can crash that into whatever it was. That's it, Possibly the most surreal moment of our lives.
Also got to see the railhead treatment train, which again fills another gap for the modern image modeller. I'm sure it'll be popular because it's actually quite a short consist, so it'll fit on most modern image layouts. And as per the 66, the attention to detail is simply superb. It's also very nicely weighted. The whole Freightliner wagon that it is based on is extremely heavy, so all the weight is low down, so it should be a nice reliable runner.
A little bit close.
Towering over all of this was the engineering sample of the O-gauge Class A3, and while I'm more interested in diesel locomotives, it was certainly hard not to be impressed by the detail of this massive machine. Even the noise it made while just going around the layout was really impressive. A rake of coaches behind it and you'd struggle to hear yourself think. It really has that sort of powerful sort of noise behind it. It almost doesn't need DCC sound. It's quite remarkable the noise it makes. Something else I really enjoyed was having the opportunity to take a look at some of the models that I don't have on the layout because they're either not in the right era or region or whatever. But yeah, it was really interesting to take a look at some of the items of stock that have been on the market for some time but I've never seen, you know, such as the Elgin Garrett and the Class 28 Kobo, and also examples like the Hattons ICI hopper. So that was a really good day, had a lot of fun, had some good conversations with a number of people, met some fans, which was a little bit surreal, and with that, a couple of days later, it was time to head off to the Warley Model Railway Show, which I usually try and go to at least every year, although I did miss out on it last year, so having had a bit of a break from it, I was looking forward to the event. After arriving at the show, pretty much the first stand I walked into was the Backman stand. I've always got an impressive display on at the various shows throughout the year, and it was really good to take a look at the container flats, which I'll certainly be getting some of, seeing the Mark IIF in the flesh, which again, hopefully be getting some soon, and also to see some of the other new releases and bits and pieces, such as the Engineers Livery 37, which is mighty tempting, new releases like the Freightliner Class 90 and the various other liveries the 90s available in. Yeah, very impressive. So I had a good look around there. It's always interesting to see what the manufacturers are up to. Next up was the Pico stand. Always enjoyed taking a look at that, as they regularly have lots of little scenes and dioramas created using the track, and some of them are actually quite inspiring, especially the large junction with all the third rail on it. That's quite a piece. It was good to see the new bullhead crossover and double slip, which I'll certainly be getting some of, to replace the temporary pieces of track that I have on the station throat, so that I can have the correct sleeper spacing across the entirety of the scenic part of the layout. So I'm really looking forward to those, and generally just took a couple of reference shots just to get some ideas and be inspired. As I said earlier, some of the displays are really well done, and you can pick up just quite a few ideas just from looking at a small piece of board with a bit of track on it. Of course, Hattons were there as well, so I popped over and said hi, and also met a huge number of other people. I pretty much got mobbed. It was quite a surreal experience. There's so many people coming over and saying hi and saying they watched the videos and really looking forward to the next one and so on, and did a YouTube meet round the corner with a number of people and other YouTubers, and that was really good. Met so many people from all ages that were just really into the hobby, including the Hattons guys themselves. They were just as into the hobby as we modelers were. We're all pretty much in the same boat. There's some good stuff running on the layout. I had the O-gauge A4, which I didn't get to see on Tuesday, so it's good to see that. And of course, you couldn't miss the 1:1 scale snowplow in the background on the stand, which Dave of Hattons has spent many hours cleaning up and repainting and preparing for the show. It really did look the business. It was a very impressive piece of kit. It was just something different that you wouldn't expect to see at a model railway show. They were also doing a competition, so I hung around for the prize draw for that.
And we're about to draw our competition for the day. So the winner gets a choice of one of our SCRP classes or a Holden train set. And we're joined by some of the guys we had last week with us. We've got Callum from SDJR 7F88 on YouTube,
Well
Sam
pronounced.
from Sam's Trains, and Richard from Everard
Hello.
Junction. So Callum's going to draw the winner. So if you'd like to go in there, right them around, and the winner is Christopher Laycock.
So big thanks to Hattons for inviting me up on Tuesday, and also at the show I had some really good chats, especially with Jack. I'm sorry Jack if I kept you busy for hours on end, but yeah, I really enjoyed myself, met loads of people, had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. And after the YouTube meet, I got nobbled by New Junction, and I was taken over to one of the press areas of the show, where I conducted an interview, which was again another somewhat surreal experience. Never been mic'd up before and had to do interviews on camera, so something different. It's all good fun. And I'll post a link in the description to that video. Also met up with some more YouTubers, finally met Dave from Dean Park Station, so it's really good to catch up with him. And he's also filmed his own interview as well with Richard from New Junction. So I'll post links in the video description to all the various videos that relate to this one. So yeah, really good fun. So with all that sorted out and most of the day gone, I did finally get the opportunity to go around the show and continue taking a look at what's going on with all the new manufacturers and products that's coming out. So I popped over to the Rapido and Revolution train stand and saw the N-Gauge Pendolino in its full length running around, which was certainly very impressive. And then of course you got all the Rapido stuff as well, the model bus that they've got coming out and the new Leyland fleet line that they've just announced. The Sterling single was really nice to see in the flesh, and certainly some of the American and Canadian outline stock was also very tempting. Even the N-Gauge turbo train was really impressive to see. Not seen that before, and various models such as the RDC and other American or Canadian outline rolling stock. But some of that stuff is just, the detail just blows you away. Some really good models on display. As they announced the Leyland Fleet Line bus, they brought one along with them, and I'm a bit of a closet bus enthusiast, so it was really good to see that vehicle fully restored in all its glory. So of course I jumped inside, had a walk around, and just checked out the quality of the restoration work that had been done, and just really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic piece of kit. And of course I got to sit in the driver's seat and pretend I was a bus driver for at least a couple of minutes. Also popped by Acura Scale, who had just recently announced the ready-to-run 00 gauge Deltic. Another welcome addition to the hobby, as the current Bachmann offering is somewhat long in the tooth and is in need of a bit of an upgrade. Also checked out various other vendors such as Daypol, Hornby, etc. I didn't quite get enough footage of all of those guys either. Next thing to do was to go around the show and enjoy some of the layouts, so I'll leave you in peace and we'll move on to those. Most impressive layout for me at the show has got to be Lime Street. It just blows you away. I went to it I think it was 2 or 3 times, and even just getting to it was difficult. It was so popular. But as the day was winding down, things got a bit quieter, and I managed to get over to it properly and take some decent shots. But that is just, I have no words for the amazingness of that layout. The amount of time that must have been invested in the construction of that station building and those canopies is really just... The amount of hours must have been crazy, thousands and thousands of hours, I'm sure. Never seen it before, followed its construction online, but never seen it in the flesh, so it was really good to take a look at that. And yeah, I would certainly say the highlight for me of the show was Lime Street Station. You can't beat it. So I hope you enjoyed that footage. I certainly enjoyed making it. It was a really enjoyable couple of days. Thanks to the guys at Hattons, thanks to the guys at the Warley Club for sorting the show out, thanks to Junction, Dave from Dean Park Station, anybody else I met who came over and said hi, asked me questions or whatever. It was a really enjoyable experience. So big thanks from me, and in return I have completed the fiddle yard for the branch line. So you can see we now got 4 decent length sidings in here. The 121 gives you an idea in terms of scale. They do continue on into the fiddle yard, you can see there at the back. The 121's just working on its shuttle at the moment, so that's using the lens ABC technology to automatically slow the train down to a stop and then wait a predetermined amount of time before then travelling back up the line in the opposite direction. That will now run to the station and do exactly the same thing before heading back this way. So it's really nice just to have that shuttling around in the background, even if you're not running anything on the main lines. So now I can finally unbox the various units that I've got in storage. Some of these have been away since I took the old layout apart, so it'll be nice to get those last few bits back onto the layout and run them into the new sidings. Okay, well I've put most of the multiple units into the sidings, and there is a surprising amount of room. The APTE is quite a tight squeeze, although I could park it in one of these 2 sidings as they are considerably longer towards the end. So that's an option, but what I think I'll do instead is have a play around with the track geometry at this end. As you can see, I've got some extra space over there. So I might be able to bring some of this point work back a little bit, start the sidings off a little earlier, and that would give me the space to park the APT in any siding I choose. The idea will be that I'll keep one of the sidings free as much as possible. So at the moment it's this one at the rear is empty. That one will be used for the units that are shuttling up and down the branch line as an area to stop and turn around. And then the rest of the units can sit in the other sidings, and should I want to run one of those, I can run the unit on the branch line into the station, and then one of these can go up the branch line and transfer onto one of the 2 slow lines and run around the main layout. So that's pretty much it for this part of the layout. Just needs a little bit more thinking in terms of what to do with the point work at the beginning. As I say, I've got some room, so it shouldn't be too difficult to change that slightly, get a little bit more room. Elsewhere on the layout, I'm just continuing to tweak the banking, just to get everything running as smoothly as possible. Doing the banking in model form is certainly not an exact science. It is a little bit fiddly, because they're models, they're not real trains, so they behave a little bit differently when presented with a banked curve. So far everything's working quite reliably, but there is the odd derailment here and there and the odd bump and undulation that I'm not quite happy with, so I'm slowly working my way around and just tweaking by removing or adding additional pieces of plasticard to the beginnings and the ends of the banked curves, just to make things nice and smooth. Okay, so I'll leave you with a couple of shots of the APT running on the layout, as it's the first time I've been able to run it on this new layout, and it certainly is a lot happier than it was on the previous layout. It looks much more at home on this track work. It's so far has been behaving itself, and it's been really good to get it running again, as I've had it boxed up for at least a year now. thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. It was certainly a bit of a monster to edit this time round, but it's all good fun. And I will put links into the video description to anything that relates to this video that's occurred over the last week or so. There's certainly plenty of videos concerning the Warley show and Hattons that are out there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next video.